Today on Core Conversations, we have Gloria Gasperi. Gloria is a business owner, a strong woman, and a real leader in the Pilates community internationally. She's based in Italy, and she has a couple teacher training courses and studios that she runs in the area. Today on our conversation, we touched on so many golden nuggets of wisdom. We talked about training the movement and not the muscle. We cited the importance of having visual and tactile cues that are really, really crisp. She talked about Michelangelo. She talked about Ferrari. She even said this one line that really hit me. There are good teachers that have 5 exercises, and there are bad teachers that have 200 exercises. This is the must listen. Enjoy the conversation. Now, I saw you do like Pilates, Pilatesology. Do you do anytime Pilates, like all of the,
Not anytime. I'm on Pilatesology.
okay. What's the difference between the two?
Well, first of all, Pilatesology is super amazing because I'm there. I'm just kidding.
Of course. Yes.
I am just kidding. So I think they are both wonderful and with a lot of amazing instructors. And I think the main difference is that Pilatesology is classical. It's just classical. I think Pilates Anytime is both classical and contemporary, from what I know.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
know
so
that some teachers teach for both. There are many wonderful teachers, like my friend Leslie Logan is on Pilates Time, Benjamin Degenhardt. I know Dana Santi is on both, I think. Yeah, so they are both amazing, for sure.
yes,
I
very good.
love Pilatesology. I used to love it way before they offer me to be part of them. That has been such a great honor.
I could imagine that must be a great honor for them to reach out and almost tap you like you're up next, right?
I remember when Alisa told me, we were in Portugal actually. You know,
Okay.
Miguel,
Yes.
my other very nice friend Miguel, invited me to teach at his conference. It was me, Alisa, Miguel, Sandy. We were all teaching there, and Alisa and Jack came to me and told me, "Oh, I don't know if you would accept. Would you like to be a feature in Pilatesology or NES?" Oh, let me think about it. Yes.
I know, right? Yes. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Roy. Hi, everybody.
I
So
know,
yes, it was
amazing.
wonderful. Yes.
All right, so please tell us your name and your business and what you do.
Yes, with pleasure. So first of all, thank you very much, Martin, to have me here. It's such a pleasure. The things you do, these things you do is just amazing. I think so. Thank you for having me. I'm Gloria Gasperi from Italy, Cinque Terre area. I don't know if you know, is in the northwest, is
Okay.
close to Tuscany. I know everybody knows Tuscany. Is a tongue of the coast, so right
Okay.
on the sea. It's a beautiful place. Hi, Maya. And I have a studio here. Actually, I just got a little bigger. So in March, last March, right before the pandemic started, I took a
Yes.
second space
Oh,
because,
wow.
yes, so now we have two rents. So,
Yes.
there was a yoga studio close to my studio that it's a twin of mine.
Okay.
This girl was moving away, so I took that space as well. So now I have two twin studios. And
Okay.
hi, Manu. Oh, this Manuela is one of my clients. She's super
Oh,
nice.
hi, Manuela.
And I have this studio where I work with my amazing team. I have these 4 wonderful instructors. They are three ladies and one guy. Who this guy
Okay.
is my best friend since university. We studied together at the university, and the girls are with me forever, for 10 years or something. And
Wow.
they are my family. They really
Yes,
are my
yes.
family, and they are just amazing. I'm the luckiest person in the world for that. And then I have my teacher training program I started in 2013. So I opened this studio in 2011, I think. I teach Pilates since 1999. So
Okay.
yes, I know I look so young that it's
You do
incredible to
look so
think about.
good.
So by the way, I'm 40 and I started teaching Pilates when I was 20. So
Okay,
it's
yeah.
exactly half of my life.
Hmm.
Yes. And I started because I am in fitness. I come from sports actually. I
Okay.
did a lot of sports as athlete,
Hmm.
and I used to ride horses as main sport that I did for a long time. Then I
Okay.
played squash. I met my husband because he was my squash teacher actually.
Okay.
So and then so I always have been in fitness, etc.
Hmm.
In 1999, I was in Boston with my
Okay.
father, who is a doctor. He's a professor
Yes.
at the university, he's an endocrinologist. And he was at a congress. I was just hanging around. And I saw a place where they were teaching this Pilates. I said, let's go and take a class. And it
Hmm.
was math. And I couldn't understand everything at the beginning because, coming from sports, 200 abdominals, they were doing like 10 repetitions and were, oh my God, that's so heavy. I was
Yes. Yes.
thinking, I don't get it.
Hmm.
But I felt that there was something I wanted to explore more. So I
Yes.
came back home and there were no schools at that time, really.
Hmm.
There was only one that I felt it was not fitting me. And so I started with some, not even DVDs, but VHS of Mary Windsor, who
Oh yeah. Yeah.
RIP,
Yes.
Mary Windsor.
Hmm.
So we all have to be grateful to her somehow.
Hmm.
And she has been such a treasure for all of our community. And then I started doing some schools. They were
Hmm.
not classical until I started doing peak Pilates at that time.
Yes. I started
And
with peak as
I
well.
Oh, that was
Yes.
great. And I
Hmm.
found out that was American, of course. So I
Yes.
said, I want to go as close as possible to the source. And so I
Hmm.
started going to Claire Dunphy, who is
Hmm.
an amazing teacher.
Yes.
And she has been so generous with me. She opened the doors of her house for me. So I kept training with her for a while, with her and Pamela Garcia, who both have been amazing.
I train with Pamela
Um,
Garcia as well, actually.
she's wonderful, right?
She's so wonderful. I need to reach out to
Yeah.
her. I haven't talked to her in a while. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the word is really small, right? And
Hmm.
I remember that Claire at a certain moment was giving me a reformer with a different order that I never tried before, and I felt so much into my body with that order. And I said, "Where did you get these orders?" She told me Jay Grimes gave me. I said, "Oh, let's
Right.
put this name in my mind. I want to know
Right.
more about this guy."
Hmm.
I knew he was an elder, but and then after 1 year, I think I kept working on that. Not less than 1 year, I think. I was in England at the place of my friend Amy Kello. She's another teacher who I met through Peak.
Hmm.
And we were just talking. I said, "What are you doing next?" And she told me, "Oh, I'm going to take the program at Vintage Pilates led by Jay Grimes." I said, "Oh, ting, 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 ting," again.
Hmm.
So I went to Google about this program. There was the work at Vintage
Yes.
Pilates. You know,
Yes.
they opened from a little time at that time. So I wrote something to them to get into their program, and I've been so lucky to be accepted. And I started working with Jay, with Karen Frischman, with Sandy Shimoda, who really,
Hmm.
these guys really changed my life
Amazing.
completely.
That's
Yes,
awesome. And
yeah,
I think it's interesting that everyone who comes from an athletic background, myself
many
included,
people.
many people share the same story of I was good in sports. I thought I was an athlete. I tried Pilates, and then I realized how weak I really am. There's a sense of it just challenges you that you want to perfect it. You want to find out why this was so challenging, why I can do 100 crunches, but I can only get through 9 of these crisscrosses before I'm tapping out. Like, why is that?
I totally agree with you. That's so interesting. I was thinking about something similar in these past days. You know, the difference between sports, performances, sometimes the goal itself. I was talking to someone about, I had some contacts recently with some guys who worked at circus,
Oh,
like
yes.
Cirque du Soleil or
Cirque du
this stuff.
Soleil.
And these people have such a respect for their bodies. It's like a temple because they really have to work with that. So all
Yes.
the techniques they use are not just meant for themselves, just for the technique, but it's are meant to function in a certain way. So to really be able to do a performance, let's say, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time to protect their bodies because it has to
Ah,
last as long as possible.
yes.
And so when we think about athletes, sometimes like someone like Simone Biles, she is
Mm-hmm.
super young. She already knows
Mm-hmm.
that her career won't last that long, right?
Yes.
Because as an athlete, you don't expect to do that job forever. So
Right.
often, then the body is push, 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 push up to the limits and then stop.
Then
It's very
stops.
different. So in Pilates, I think it's the same. We have a goal, and what I find extremely creative and really, that's what really moves me as teacher is the creative process of it's like to me it's a gift when someone comes to me and tells me I have problem with this exercise, can you help me to build it up?
Yes.
And it's not just about keep the body and hold it there until you do it. So once I
Mm.
heard someone say we should fake it until we make it.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
That's not my philosophy.
Right.
It's not. It's to see what's behind that. So
Right.
let's see
It's like
what
scale
you
it
need.
back. Yes.
Exactly.
The gentleman I had on yesterday was a professional basketball player, is a professional basketball player, and
Mm,
he was saying that he had a knee injury. So he was playing, and he has tremendous athleticism. Uh, he's like 5'10", but has like a 50-inch vertical. So he won a slam dunk competition. So with that athleticism, he eventually got hurt. And when he was hurt and he was going through his recovery with his knee, it was then that he discovered all the muscle imbalances, all the other things that probably caused the knee injury. So even though his performance was fantastic, he had a lot of movement patterns that caused problems. So it's interesting how in Pilates, when we look at the whole body, and we look at the whole system of body and how it moves, it brings everything into balance so we don't have those kind of injuries that happen at one spot in the body because we're looking at the entire body as a unit.
and I think this is super interesting. It makes me think about two things. And with a basketball player, I mean athletes in general, I say, physical activity is healthy. Sports are not healthy in
Ah,
general as idea. You know what I mean? I love
yes,
sports. I
yes.
come from that. My son is a basketball player. He's totally into basket. And I
Mm,
think that basketball players are some of the best ones as athlete. I mean, he showed me a training of Kyrie Irving was
yes.
which were are you coming from? So they are also pretty
Mm,
healthy as athletes. I think in general they are elastic, they are
yes.
strong. It's
It's
everything. It's super cool.
right.
But
Like,
still,
sorry. Yes.
no, no, go ahead,
No,
please.
no, go, no, please go. You're right. You're mid thought. Go for it.
Okay.
Like,
No, no. So I said, even though they are so good in general, sports, as these guys say, it's not natural. It's true. It's not meant to do a functional movement. It's meant to do something that goes beyond everything. And that's okay. I
yes.
still love it. But it's
Hmm.
like when I say, if you look at Ferrari doing the GP, they don't use the same engine for the whole tour. They
Yes.
change the engine because, of course, when you push it, then you have to change
Yes.
it. So
You warmed
I
my heart when you started talking about cars.
Ferrari. Okay, I know.
Yes.
I'm an Italian girl. I know which buttons to push.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
I have which car. You know which car I drive. I drive an amazing Peugeot, super small and purple. So it's
Oh,
not a fancy
really?
car. Not very interesting for a guy. I know. So, by the way, one thing I think in Pilates that sometimes we are missing. Joe Pilates used to say the body doesn't know the muscles, he knows the movements. And he was constantly
Hmm.
writing and talking about the movement of the animals and of the babies. So I
Yes.
think we sometimes forget two things. So that Sports are to go beyond. Pilates is to function at the best of that body in a natural movement. So to function well.
Yes.
At the same time, sometimes, I think that's my opinion, in Pilates as well, we forget to use the movement to do that. So it's not just about overanalyzing muscles and make every muscle perfect to then do it, but
Right.
it's about re-educating the whole body through the movement itself.
I agree with that totally. And I think for my own self and for my own body, I focus on its performance more than its aesthetics. So it's fine to have a six pack or it's fine to have good muscles, but at the end of
It's
the day,
very
if
fine.
I go, yes, but if I go play football with my friends and I can't run or I can't make that big play that I want to make, then it doesn't matter. My six pack's not helping me right now. I train my body for performance, not for its appearance. The appearance will come after its performance.
Exactly.
As you
The
know, so that
performance and the function.
and the
Exactly.
function, yes. Yeah, so when we start looking at it from we're training movement patterns instead of training muscles, then we are actually moving ahead. No
I
pun
think
intended.
so. I
Yeah.
think so. And actually, I think that also from outside, you can see a body when it has been trained by just by weights, for instance, and separating parts of the body, or where you can see a body that has been trained by movement. It's live
Yes.
inside. It's like an animal again. Can you
Yes.
imagine like a jaguar running,
Hmm.
keeping all the time the shoulders down, don't move the pelvis, don't do that, hold. How can you
Yes.
run? I mean, you know what I mean? So
Yes, absolutely.
the
There's a
jaguar,
fluidity.
there's a fluidity and there's a function, and the jaguar is in contact with the intelligence of his body. So its body knows exactly where to put the shoulders, where to put the pelvis, and where to put everything to run. So when we
Yes.
approach an exercise, I think that it's not just to do the things just without control, but the control and the decision where how to adjust the different parts of the body
Hmm.
has to come from the idea to put the whole body together and to be able to make an action. Oh,
Yes.
1080 speed speaking my language. Good.
I think 1080 speed is falling in love with you by the minute here because you are as am I. This is like this is good stuff. Like I love talking movements. Like there's a celebration of
Movement.
movement.
Movement. I have a degree in kinesiology. I'm a kinesiologist as well. So that's where I come from. And everything also, I have to tell you that one of the many reasons why I love Jay Grimes so much is that when I started working with him and learning from him, I said, okay, so I can teach Pilates like I teach sports. So I have not
Yes.
necessary to
Yes.
start from blocking, but yes, and it's amazing because I also studied a lot about neurosciences. So there's a specific way how the brain learns movement patterns. It's not something that we can play with. The
Right.
brain knows it. So you have to start from the big movement. So not from the perfect move, from the big one. So that
Okay.
it's dirty and it's from the basics coordination of the movement. Then
Okay.
you progress to the fine coordination. And at the end, the ultimate goal is to clean up completely the fine coordination and to create the one that it's called it's in Italian is disponibilità variabile, that it's variable availability. It
Yes.
means that when the condition around you have a variation, you have the availability in your own body to get
Yes.
the
To
movement patterns
access.
that you need. Exactly, like a
Yes.
sculpture, a masterpiece, they are saying as well. You know Michelangelo, my student Michelangelo. I'm kidding.
Yes.
I'm Italian, so he was my student. So
Yes.
he says that a sentence of him was a quote of his was, "I saw the angel inside the marble, and I started sculpting until the angel came out." So you take off
Yes.
what is not necessary. You don't add on. So when you look at the body as a
Yes.
teacher, it shouldn't be, okay, now let's see what's wrong with this body. Let's see what I can correct. No, I don't think so. You look at the body, you make it move, so you see,
Yes.
and then you usually see what a person is doing that it's not as absolutely necessary to function
Yeah.
at its best,
So
I
then,
think.
Gloria, at that point, are you asking yourself, what can this body do, or what can this body not do?
Mm.
Just,
Okay, that's a great question. I never start from not do because that's, oh, wow, I like you so much. So it's not that I stop the body from doing something, otherwise, I would go to retraction again. I
yes.
think the real magic of this work for me is that I actually always start from, often, at least from what's good. I
Hmm.
completely follow my instinct and intuition like Jay taught me. It's something pretty good for me. I'm a very spiritual person. Once I said to him, Jay, sometimes I choose exercises for a body I don't even know why. And then I find
Mm.
out why after. Because sometimes
Yes.
people tell me, I know why you gave me this exercise. I say, oh, okay, tell me. So I know as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's, when you really use the intelligence of the body to guide you. So
Yes.
what I find really magic is that once you guide the body using the essence of the exercise, and I always say to my students of the teacher training program to always start from three things: starting position, dynamic of the exercise, rhythm. With the dynamic, I mean exactly what you have to do. So like
Yes.
a roll
Hmm.
up is lift your arm, come on up, 1, 2, 3, roll down, reach your arms back. That's it. So first you need
Yes.
to have this and the rhythm before correcting anything. First I give you these
Hmm.
things. I see
Yes.
how your body get there, and
Yes.
then I see what I need to give you to make
To
it
ref-
even more clean,
yes.
to refine
Right.
it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the cool thing is that in that way, you will get stronger and stronger in the essence of the exercise. And
Hmm.
step by step, from the exercise itself, your body will learn what it doesn't need anymore.
Yes. Would you say at that point that is when when a person is proficient with this process through the system, is that when you would say the person has Pilates in their body, so to speak?
Well, oh my God, I love all your questions. I remember when Jay says it's not worth it to do anything, to give anything to a body until the person is in his own body.
Okay.
And
What does that
and I
mean to
always
you?
thought, exactly, I always thought,
Yes.
okay, so I know I can recognize how when the person is in his own body, but how can I get them? How can I be sure that I always get them there? And how can I can help my students to do that process, to get people into their own bodies? And
Yes.
I realized that the first thing for me is to choose few exercises to start from
Hmm.
and put the person into the flow. The flow
Yes.
is an obsession for me. You can find it in sport, in art, in
Yes.
psychology, in so
Hmm.
many fields.
And that's a founding
So
principle in Pilates too, no? Like flowing movement.
it's so important. So
Yes.
for me, it's when it's like music, I have to see first of all that in the order, in those exercises I choose, the person goes. It's like that there's not a stop. Once you are we're into that, I can tell you that I can see like a click in the person, boom, and the
Yes.
person is there. And that's
Hmm.
where, as Jay says, is when the body starts talking to me. And so I
Yes.
choose the exercises because that body is asking me. It's not my blah
Hmm.
blah 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 blah, or
It's not
it's
your
really.
agenda.
Exactly. It's really
Yes.
staying in the moment.
Yes.
And that's
That
where the
takes,
process starts for me.
yes. That takes such a trust in your own investment in yourself, too. Understanding what you know so that when you're in those moments, I like that word connection too. Like when you're in those moments, you can connect with what you know, you can see what's in front of you, and you can give that direction to a person instead of feeling like, oh no, I'm not sure. This is what I have planned. I have to stay with my plan. You can let the plan come to you from the body that's in front of you.
Okay, so I want to tell you two things. One is that when I did teach, with Jay, I did the work. That was the program they had. And then I've been
Yes.
so lucky because I did teaching the work as well. That has been a super selective program that Jay selected 12 of us to do this amazing stuff.
Yes.
During every meeting of teaching the work, I remember, I was taking notes. And at the end of every week, I was putting very big on a page the message of the week. For
Okay.
every single meeting I had, the message was always the same. Trust yourself, trust the work.
Yes.
So that's a huge point.
It
I
is.
want to tell you this. I totally agree with you. I completely stopped planning anything. Also now when I go teaching workshops, at the beginning I was planning because, then I was thinking I change everything all the time according to what I see in front of me. So I just stopped planning.
Yes.
But I didn't stop studying. So I think sometimes we put a lot of energies in planning the 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 lesson or the workshop, while we should really put a lot of energies in, as you said, in putting the work in our own bodies.
Yes,
So
in
when
our
I am
personal
in the moment,
preparation.
exactly. So when I am in that moment, that's the source where I can get my instinct and my intuition come from my work, of course.
Yes.
And so, in
Yes.
fact, I say you can be a great teacher even though you know 5 exercises. You can be
Hmm.
a terrible teacher even though you know 200 exercises. I mean, if you are a
Right.
good painter, good artist, you can make an amazing painting with 3 colors. If you don't have the
It's
art
true.
inside you, if I just add colors, I just add confusion. I don't add art.
Yes. That is so good. You could be a great teacher with 5 exercises or a terrible
So
teacher with 200 exercises.
it just can create more confusion. I think
Harold, write that down. People, write that one down. That was good. It's true. It creates confusion because there's no clarity to what you're presenting. Simplicity.
simplicity, exactly. Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication, Leonardo da Vinci was saying. So, these cool Italian guys were totally right. So
Yes.
they were all my students, of course. And
Yes, of course.
it's totally true. And I also have, and this is applicable to any field. Imagine a chef.
Absolutely.
The great chef, I mean, when you eat something really cool, like in Italy, what is really cool? An amazing dish of spaghetti with the right tomato sauce, with the right basil, with the right oil. What about that crazy pizza with pineapple on it? I mean,
Yes.
it's those American stuff.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's the quality of what you do.
Yes.
So, and I think as a teacher trainer, what I learned is really to create as much as I can in my student a strong foundation. That's what I need.
Yes.
That they are like,
Yes.
for me, uh, now I have some projects to open other sections of my school, right? In
Okay.
with some of my students in other locations. And I will take care of part of the program, and my students will take part of
Yes.
the rest. What I will do is the first part of the program.
Okay.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? I think
Yes.
that's
The
then I have
foundation.
the foundation. Then, of
Yes.
course, I have total trust in my students, in the people around me, so they will grow. But, I think it's always important to the first part, the imprint, this
Yes.
part, and then you
Absolutely.
progress.
Yes.
When my advanced students call me, like before the module 3, when they know they are supposed to learn to do long spine or snake and twist, they call me, I don't know if I will be able to do long spine or snake and twist. I say, don't worry, that won't be your problem. Your problem will be a roll up, because if you are an advanced student, I want to see an amazing roll up. Then we can think
Right.
about the snake and twist. So
Yes. Yes.
as much as I progress, I understand better the basics.
That's, going back to basketball for a minute, Kobe Bryant, once again, rest in peace, talked about that, like mastering the fundamentals. there's something to be said for absolutely owning the fundamentals, the baseline, doing that just autonomic. It should be like you don't have to think about it. It just flows. You don't have to refine it. It is there. And then everything else comes from those basic movements.
And everything, like also in nature, every advanced thing is built up from the root is the simple exercise of itself.
Yes.
So if you can read like a snake again, if you start reading that exercise, seeing that exercise like a combination of simpler movements, that's where you can understand how to build it up for your student. Not just saying, okay, you need to retract your shoulders to do that. No, you need to understand with action to do. So, okay, so maybe he needs to push more. So I give that exercise that is teaching him how to push. Or he needs to be stronger in his butt. And so I give something that strengthens his butt. And so once you get there, your body knows it.
Your body knows it. And, there'll be times with some of my students when they're warm, I'll give them an advanced exercise early in the session so they can fail at it, and then show them the exercises that would set that exercise up so that they're getting that connection. Okay, so the first exercise today is a teaser. And then they'll fail miserably at it, or they'll struggle with it. It'll be difficult. And then we go back and do a roll up, and then we do a rolling like a ball, and then we do our spine stretch forward, and then we do our legs, and then we come back to it after a double leg stretch and see how all the other exercises set it up, and then we'll finish off with the teaser again. Oh, we did that at the beginning, and then they get it beautifully, even though we didn't stop and say, okay, because you could say, okay, well, let's stop, let's do a quad stretch. And now let's do a shoulder stretch, or we can go into the movements and let the movements set up the next movement and the next movement and the next movement.
It's super cool. So, the expression of people when they fail at the beginning and then you build it up and then you do it again and they can do it without even understanding why, that's a gift for me. That's one of my favorite gifts.
Yes.
When, oh no, I cannot do it. Yes, you can. And that's another point of teaching Pilates for me. I think whenever I work with Jay, I feel my body can do things that I didn't know it could do.
Absolutely.
I don't feel, oh, I'm such a mess because I'm not able to do this. I'm aware I have to work on some stuff, but it doesn't mean I have to feel bad. It's the opposite. I feel good and I feel I have a goal. And that's another big point about that. Jay always says that Joe Pilates used to treat everybody as Olympic athletes. Like everybody has to work at his top. And he said that he was never, whenever he was giving you something specific for your body, like a correction or whatever, it was an exercise that was meant to correct you something. It was never telling you, I give you this exercise because you are so bad in this. It was giving you, this is a special gift for you.
Yes. I actually heard that. I love that. Yes.
Me too.
This is a gift for you. Yes.
And Jay always says we have to give to the body what that body needs. I think it's a subtle, huge line, when we think what the body needs or what that body is bad on. You know what I mean? I think it's subtle, but it's huge. Because maybe you need something to get stronger, but it's something you need. It's not something I think you are bad in, and so I correct you, I would say.
Right, exactly. So you can say it's, how would I say it in a counseling setting? I would say, instead of saying your strength areas and your weaknesses, I would say your strength areas and your growth areas.
I love that. So you can do this and you need to, oh, my nephew is there. Hi, Margie. And she just started the teacher training program with me.
Oh, did she?
I'm
okay,
so proud.
amazing.
Yes.
Oh, and she's learning from you. She's going to be a rock star.
I hope so. I have high expectations on her.
Yes.
Thank you. But yes, no, I totally agree with you. It's the positive thing, the building up thing. I think these are all subtle things where to push someone, but lift it up at the same time. That doesn't mean
Yes.
to always be, oh, you are good in everything.
You're
I think
wonderful. No, yeah.
no, not that. That's just bullshitting. Uh,
Hmm.
oh, thank you, Ricky. That's just bullshitting. It's really about being positive
Yes.
and strong at the same time. To be a guide. For me,
Yes.
for me, well, not in all sports, but what I relate from sports as well is that it happened to me so many times to be in the hands of some Pilates teachers and
Hmm.
just feel like a doll. I'm small.
Yes.
I'm a very small person, tiny,
Hmm.
tiny, and flexible. So if you take my body and I can do a lot of stuff. So with some teachers who
Yes.
were just, okay, I can do whatever you want, but I'm not really doing anything.
No, right.
And
Yes.
you know what I mean? While when I'm guided by Jay, his hands are huge and strong, but I don't feel his hands on me. I feel the fact of his hands on me. I feel the
Yes.
intention of, so I feel it in my
Yes.
body. I don't feel
Right.
from his body.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, those are high level tactile cues that you're talking about right now. That is an art.
I think so.
That
I
is an art.
completely agree. I think so.
Much like having an eye when you just stand there and watch people. Like I did a class with Brooke Seiler on Monday,
I love Brooke. I
and
love Brooke.
over video, she was like, "Do this, look at this. No, not yet, not yet. Get it? Oh, like she could see just the minutia of those things, and those are the things that I love chasing after as a teacher. Just getting better with my eye, getting better with my tactile cues, so that people feel the like you said the intention with that
Ex-
cue, not just hands forcing you into
Intention
a
is
place.
everything.
Yes.
And I remember once with Jay, we were doing a touching drill, a drill about touches. And I said to
Hmm.
him, Jay, when I touch someone during an exercise, I have the feeling like if I am doing that exercise, that's the intention. He said, okay, we can stop the workshop here. That's the whole point.
Hmm.
So it's really like being into the moment again
Yes.
and letting your hand be guided not by your thought, but really by something. I don't know how to say.
Yes.
I
No,
love
no, no.
that
It's
feeling.
right on. Yeah, yeah. And
And like go ahead.
no, no, sorry. Just right off of that too. You mentioned something earlier. I wanted to touch on it, which is your mindset as well. So you were saying just about when there's exercises, when there's things that you're challenged by, how do you approach it in your mindset to get to a place where you can do it? Like, instead of thinking I can't get this exercise, or I just this isn't for me. You said something earlier just around like with that mindset of being able to adjust to it. I lost the train of thought with it, but
I don't remember. I say so much stuff. When we so hard to say. So
yes.
you said when you okay, maybe when I said I know I have to work on that. I
Hmm.
mean that doesn't mean I'm weak. So is that maybe what you mean when I know I have to work on an exercise?
It's gone. I can't remember what it was now. But like
Okay,
it's one of
we'll
those things
come
where
on again.
you're on a roll. And I didn't want to interrupt you on it.
Interrupt me whenever you want. Otherwise, I'm terrible. I can go on forever.
Uh,
And no,
well,
no, that's
this is
okay.
a bad
I don't know.
combination then because I'm a good listener, so I'll let you talk and I'll just eat it all up and we'll just keep going.
Well, I can go
But
a good listener too, so we can go 50-50. Now it's your
sure.
turn. Go.
All
Now it's
right.
your
Yes.
That could be a good team.
Yes. So we were talking earlier just on via text about being agile. About
Okay.
yes, and that's what we're talking about. Like in terms of we set it in the physical realm when like using the example of the Jaguar and being mobile and stuff like that. But then also being agile with handling challenges and all those different things, being able to adapt and be not so rigid, but being able to just flow with the challenges in our day as a Pilates instructor, as a business owner, as a teacher, all those different things as well. Can you speak to that?
With big pleasure. I have to tell you about that I am particularly proud of my students in this so incredible and weird period that we are all living, this pandemic, because what happened right at the beginning of this emergency is that I saw a response from my students that where I thought, okay, they really got the real center. Because the
Mm-hmm.
center to me, what is the center? We always talk about working with the core, the center, but what it is.
Okay.
And so does it mean that I have to be able to hold my abdominals all the time while I'm moving? I don't think so. The real center, going back to Leonardo da Vinci, again, is for me like the Vitruvian man. You know, when you
Okay.
are from
Yes.
your center, he has his arms open, his legs open, going in all the direction of the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So a real center, it means that I am present with everything. And that's why the flow is so important. I am with my mind, with my body, and with my spirit completely into what I am doing. And I can
Yes.
answer like an animal. I mean, going back to a jaguar, I mean, the jaguar can be resting and it can go from quiet to run in a second and then go be, and so, like a cat, toom, toom, toom.
Yes.
So always being present and not allow the things around you to make you lose who you are. I mean, of
Mm.
course, we define ourselves also through the relationship with the rest of the world. The center has
Yes.
not to be closed away from the rest of the world. Actually, the real center is from inside open to the rest.
Yes.
This means when you develop this, both when you teach and both when you work out, it means that you can adapt. I mean, things change, like you, and going back to what we said before, like I don't plan anything. I stay there, I see the body in front of me, I have my skills inside me that are my source,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can decide what to do. And one thing I teach to my students, whenever they look at the body and you have that moment when now what am I going to do? Whatever am I supposed to see? What am I supposed to do? I say, when you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Just wait a second. Just make
Yes.
one step back,
Yes.
literally, physically. Do one step back,
Mm-hmm.
breathe, look, and then that's where you create the space where your instinct and intuition can guide you and tell you
You're
what to do.
you're talking about the concept of being still.
Exactly.
That is lost. That is a lost art form, to be still, because we are so uncomfortable being still and we're very uncomfortable being quiet.
I know.
Silence is scary.
It is
Stillness is
very scary.
scary, right?
It's
So,
it's so right, and you make me smile because as you can see, it's hard to think that I can be quiet either, but I can be. I know, and it's so funny because Jay at the beginning was saying, "Oh, that girl talks too much. She moves too much. Blah blah blah." Then he started really liking me because I use Pilates to get into that moment, that kind of quietness. You know what I mean?
yes,
and
yes,
and to be quiet and still, it's not about how many words you say. A person can be silent all the time without being quiet and without being still, or you can talk
yes,
all the time and being still and
mhm,
quiet. It's something really inside, I
yes,
think.
absolutely. My friend Ajamu, who was on the show, coined the term, we talk about exercise, inner size.
Ooh, I love
Yeah,
that.
right? Inner size and that breathing and centering and meditation and things that bring us to a place of awareness of where we are, and then to move out from that place of strength. He calls it inner size.
mm, it's super cool.
It's so
I
cool.
was just thinking about, yes, these things, this concept, and and that very subtle balance between concentrating on yourself and so inner size, that has not to mean that you cut yourself from the rest of the world, and to stay in contact with the rest of the world, that doesn't mean that you lose your inner voice. So
Yes.
it's
That's a
it's like
great
the self.
challenge to,
I,
yeah.
I think that's what I try and do in my life.
Hmm.
So that's life. I think when you can, it's like the cells, when something can go in, something can go out, and you can be like a cell by yourself. You need
Yes.
the system. to
Yes.
to 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 function well. So
Yes.
it's the one thing, and at the same time not losing yourself.
Right. Interconnected. We have to be interconnected in
Interconnect.
that way. Yes.
I think so. And
Yes.
in this period, like I was mentioning before, my students did this amazing job. As soon as the pandemic started, they all responded, not even reacted, but responded in a
Mm.
beautiful way, like taking their time, using this time to work out on themselves. They started exchanging one to each other, like teaching
Okay.
one to each other.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
all grown so much. And then many of them started doing like I did online stuff and this kind of thing. So you
Mm.
reinvent yourself.
Yes,
Once
you
you have the
do.
work, you can do whatever you want with that.
Right. Because it's in you.
It's in you. And at the same time, another subtle balance is to adapt yourself to the outside circumstances, and at the same time still make your voice strong. And so not just,
Yes.
not just got them, but also
Mhm.
be active with them.
Yes. Yes.
And I remember a big conversation. Oh, you see, I can go on forever, but just
Keep going.
into my mind. No, I
Hey.
remember an amazing conversation I had with my friend and colleague Tony Balongo. I don't know if you know him.
Hmm.
He's from Spain.
No.
He's an amazing guy. Um, you will love him. About the fact that make choices and freedom means to take your own responsibilities. That's something
Yes.
that scares many people.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're touching on very scary topics today. Like, those are things that refine us,
Welcome to
make
my
us
world.
better. But I love it. I think that it's good, and I think that it makes us better when we look at how do we exercise stillness? How do we exercise, being silent? How do we exercise moving with confidence on based on what we know instead of having a script and staying tight to that script? Like all those things really do refine us, but they take that stretching and that challenging us and pushing us out of our comfort zone to get there.
A huge push. And they take discipline. They take like a daily
Discipline.
discipline, not like
Yes.
they take a constant work,
Yes.
constant. And the
Hmm.
constant, yes, to be kicked out from your comfort zone, to expand your comfort zone, to
Yes.
always challenge yourself all the time
Hmm.
and take your break and be proud of yourself and oh, so much stuff.
Yes.
So much stuff.
Yes. Oh, actually, you said take your break. We rest. What do you do to rest? What do you do to play, Gloria? What do you do outside of
Okay.
Pilates?
So, okay, Gloria and rest are not two words that go very well together.
You
So
don't
this
say.
is so okay. This is my biggest thing to learn. This
Okay.
always has been the biggest thing to learn from me is to give myself a break, to
Okay.
understand. You understand me, 80,
Yes.
10, 80 speed. So is to understand that actually the rest is part of the training
Yes.
that my body and my mind need that time to settle down, not
Hmm.
just to rest, but to learn better. It's
Right.
really part of it. It's not,
It's
oh
part of it.
yes, I need a break because then I can learn other stuff, but then because to learn you need a break. It's again
Yes.
something that it happens in your brain. You have to let the things settle and absorb them.
Hmm.
So to play, I need the sea, first of all.
Yes.
I love to go by boat. I find my real center when I am on my boat in the middle of the sea with the
Lovely.
with the yes, with the waves rocking me. That's
Hmm.
where I feel the place where I feel most grounded in my life is where I am on the water. I'm definitely a
Yes.
water person.
Hmm.
So I do that. I spend time with my son. I love to read books. I love to watch movies, this kind of easy stuff, super simple.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love to
Yes.
color mandalas. That's something
Mm.
weird, but I love to do that.
Yes.
And I don't cook. I don't do that kind of stuff. No. I do these simple things. I stay in the
Yes.
nature. I need
Yes.
nature. Seize my peace. I know, Maya. And yes, I really need nature. I go walking my dogs. I do this kind of stuff, little
Lovely.
stuff, small,
Yeah.
simple stuff. And I stay by myself.
Yes. It's you'd be surprised how many people can't actually answer that question. They're
If I
just like,
can't,
no, I mean, you did a great job of answering. Like, you have your answers, but
I
some people
learned.
don't.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
exactly. We
learned.
learned that, right? Some people don't have those answers. They're, oh, I don't know. I just stop. I'll just sleep. But when you find those things that give you life, give you energy, you guard your time, and you take time for those things, because like you said, that rest is part of your training, is part of your work, and it makes you sharper, as Harold 1080 said. So
Yes, he said, and I totally agree with you. And I also learned that it's a right. I learned to
mhm.
nurture myself. I think, at least, I think most of all as women, but also as men, for everybody. I'm a mother, I'm a business person, blah, blah, blah. We all
Yes.
are so busy, and we always think about what we have to do, but also be
Mhm.
gentle to ourselves, to nurture ourselves. I think it's very
Yes.
important to give pleasure to ourselves, to do something that we really
Yes.
like, and we
Yes.
can serve other people better.
hmm When you give your
So
best version of yourself to them.
I think so. Otherwise, you
Yes.
just get frustrated, and then everything moves from frustration because other people don't do what you want them to do, or blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
So it can go very wrong. So,
Yes.
and you expect from the others to give you what you need. It
Yes.
doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Laura, we have talked for 55 minutes straight. This
Really?
is, oh,
So weird.
and I have to say that you are just a beautiful person inside and out. I love your awareness and your Pilates knowledge and your passion for movement. Like, if someone has the opportunity to do a teacher training with you, they're going to come out as just an amazing Pilates person.
You are so nice. And I have to tell you that I really loved what I saw you were doing, but all your questions that you give me today, of course, come from the real ability to listen with your heart, with all your senses, and
Mhm.
and also from so much respect and really desire to share, that it was such an incredible honor for me,
Thank you so
Martin.
much. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to log you off and just say
Oh,
goodbye to our
Fernando.
people.
Yes, yes,
The
please.
um the the replay of this, I will post it. I'll send it back to you,
Okay. Okay,
and then
great.
it can be found. If you could repost it, that'd be great, so people can find out where it's going to
Of
be
course.
on the
With big pleasure.
core conversations on Facebook. Like, we're Facebook friends, so I'll show you the
Oh,
group page
great.
there.
Okay, please.
And then yeah, and then on the website. So we'll have everything there. So this conversation was so rich. So I have to watch it again, and I'm sure there's so many people out there that could benefit from everything that we said today. So
Thank
thanks
you
so
so,
much,
so much,
Gloria.
everybody. And most of all to you, Martin. Thank you, thank you. Have a
Thank
great day.
you. Yes, take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bachi, bachi.
Thanks for listening to Core Conversation today. I encourage you to check out our website at personalvictory.ca/core conversations to keep the conversation going. We have our forum where we can talk about different issues. You can highlight any teacher trainings that you have. You can ask questions of our guests, and you can just find out who is coming up next. So join us there, and thanks again for listening to Core Conversations.